So I am live streaming this event on YouTube. So I am live streaming this event on YouTube. Yeah. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
So what's time now? Okay, let's start after 12. Maybe what's time? Okay, so welcome everyone. Hello, my name is Somtochukwu Veronica. I would like us to first introduce ourselves in the chat box. You can tell me your name, and also let us try to put in our LinkedIn or any social media link on the chat box so that we can get to know each other better, and we can send you some things about Bincom Academy, Bincom Dev Center. So I would like to get to know everyone that has joined this meeting. So if you can please put your name and social media handle in the chat box, that would be very grateful. Thank you. So this event is brought to us by Bincom Dev Center. Bincom Dev Center is a multi-talent technology, sorry, multi-talent technology, talent developing, and solutions platform. So Bincom Dev Center has three main pillars that it focuses on. It focuses on building tech talent, it focuses on enhancing tech talent, and building startups. Wendy Uche, thank you for joining us. Very glad to meet you. Thank you. So Bincom Dev Center, I explained to you that we have three pillars. Inia, thank you. You're the host of this event. Thank you. Under building tech talent, we have the Bincom Academy, the Bincom Tech Internship, the Bincom Tech Apprenticeship, the Bincom Global Tech Program. And under enhancing tech talent, we have Bincom Tech Network, including community events and projects. We have Light Space. We have Immigrate Tech Visas. We have Bincom Mentoring Platforms. We have Bincom Tech Career Coaching. And under Bincom Startup, we have Labs by Bincom. Now, Bincom is in a multi-location company. So you have it virtually, which is where we work remotely. We also have at Yaba, we have at Ibadan, we have at Kano, we have at Kaduna, Ijebu Igbo, we have at Warri and the United Kingdom. We are also planning to expand to many more countries all over the world. Now, Bincom Academy utilizes a Montessori approach in training participants in basic skill needed for the modern technology ecosystem. That is Bincom Tech Internship. It is designed to enable people at intermediate skill level to gain mastery and expertise over a period of time. You have Bincom Tech Apprenticeship, which is an industrial attachment at various skill levels to gain experience on the job training. You have Bincom Tech Network, which includes community events and projects, which is geared at giving back to the community and building the tech ecosystem. We focus on informing and exposing youths at current technology trends and how to prepare for the future in technology. So we also have Lightspace, and Lightspace provide helpful workspace intended to encourage collaboration and drive innovation in startup ecosystem. Bincom Tech Global Tech Program. Now, Global Tech Program is a solution to launch your career globally. So it is a 1 to 2 year program focused on the three key pillars of learning, which is learn a skill, gain experience, and gain exposure. It is to make you globally attractive. Now we have the Immigrate Tech Visa, which helps you become globally attractive. It's a tech profile or tech-enabled business and is your tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement in countries like UK, US, Canada, France, and so many more. Bincom Mentoring Platform is a structured mentoring solution to help mentors and add value. What? To help mentors and add value to mentees for the purpose of building globally attractive techies. Now, Labs by Bincom, this is a 3 to 6 months pre-incubator program that brings together participants to build a digital technology product which could be used by real life users. That is, you build a real product that will be used in real life. Now, Bincom Tech Career Coaching helps individuals to land their next role faster by offering a combination of what coaching, relevant on-the-job experience, career referencing, introduction to tech recruiters, and hand-holding through application and interview process, and many more. So Bincom still has quite a lot to offer, but we'll be stopping here for now. So, Inia, please introduce yourself and your speakers.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Inaya. I'm the host for today's design meetup about designing in the age of AI. Obviously, I'm excited to introduce our next speaker is Timmy. I think it's Adubi. That's how you pronounce his name. Timmy is a senior product designer at Omaze UK, where he's been making an impact by creating initiative user-centered experiences that bridge the gap between design and purpose. He has a strong background in product design, and he is passionate for creating solutions that not only look good but work. He brings both strategic thinking and creative flair to the table. And today he's here to share some of his insights, experiences, and also lessons learned from working at the intersection of design and impact-driven products. So if you can please join me in welcoming Timmy Adubi. I will hand it over to you now to talk a little bit about designing in the age of AI. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Timmy, are you around? Mr. Timmy? Maybe he is not ready. Who is your second speaker?
Okay, yeah, my second speaker is Michael Olufemi Alo. He's a talented brand designer with a deep passion for creating visual identities that resonate and connect with audiences. He creates compelling brand designs, and they're both aesthetically captivating and strategically grounded. Um, with his expertise in visual storytelling and design, he helps brand communicate their essence in ways that will leave lasting impressions. So whether it's logo design, brand guidelines, or full-scale visual systems, Michael will bring a unique blend of creativity and precision to every project. So I'll hand it over to you now, Michael, to give us a little bit of an insight about the designing in the age of AI.
Michael, please, are you ready to present?
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I've made you co-host. You can share your slide.
Okay. No problem. Thank you. I'll just give it a minute. Yeah, sorry, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay.
Zoom.
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll be presenting. So the topic we are treating today is designing in the age of AI. Can you hear me, please? Just okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Give me a
Yeah, you are
minute. I'm trying
breaking.
to. Yeah, sorry. Give me a minute. I'm trying to figure out something. A minute, please.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I'm really sorry for that. Can you hear me, please? Just confirm if you can hear me so I can go on.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So the topic we are treating today is designing in the age of AI, and I'm Michael Olafemi. I'm a brand designer, also a product designer, and an upcoming UI UX designer also. Yeah, so basically we know okay, design is everywhere. We see designs every day from the apps we use. Even when we're on the street walking, we see designs from the posters, from the flyers we see on the street, we see design. But now something big is coming. We're in like a new era where machines are becoming our creative partners, where you can actually describe a logo in words, and then an AI will generate like 5 options for you in like 3 seconds to 5 seconds, basically. Yeah, so we're in a new era. Something new is coming. So the question we need to ask is, what does it mean to design in the age of AI? What does it mean? And to answer that, we need to do like a little bit of background check or a little bit of recall. Where are we coming from? So let's I'm moving to the next slide. What has design always been? So before we talk about AI, before we dive into AI, let's rewind a bit and what has design always been? So can you still see my slides?
Yeah,
I
we
just
can still
want
see
to
your
know.
slides.
Yes.
Can someone hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so what has design always been? Before we talk, so whether you are a graphics designer or a product designer or a fashion designer, even a fashion designer, design has always been about problem solving. It has always been about taking something complex, taking like a complex piece of information and making it clear, useful for the users or for an audience. Traditionally, traditionally, is someone saying anything? Okay. So traditionally, design starts with human understanding. The first thing you do is okay, you know your audience, you understand the problem, and then you shape that your understanding into like a meaningful and a useful piece of information using design tools. In the Stone Age, they might use rock, they might carve drawings on rocks and caves, but we moved to pen and paper. Then from pen and paper, we moved to Photoshop, we moved to Figma, and even Post-it. And there's design is very intentional in the sense that for every font you use or for every space you put in a design or for every shape and decision, it's not just like a decoration. It's not just a decoration, is sorry. Okay, it's not just a decoration, is intentional. You know, like you must think of every shape or every font you use before you use it in a design. Is the communication. Yeah, so we'll be moving on to the next. Okay, this is classic logo over time. Like these images, they are showing like evolutions of logos over time. You can see Apple's logo. They moved from this it looks like it's old. We can all see that it's old. Then they moved to this other one that had like rainbow, that has like rainbow colors. Now this is the one they are using. The one at the end is the one they are using now. And basically we can also see Photoshop's interface before they were using the interface. Like this just shows that design is evolving over time and design is not stagnant. So we must also move with the evolution. We must, as designers, we must move with the change. We must not be stagnant. Yeah. So the next my next slide. So in the last few years, in the past years, we've seen tools like ChatGPT, ImageFX, Midjourney. I'm sure we all at least we must have heard of ChatGPT, except you are, let me say, you are traditional. And let me just use the word tradition. All of us must have heard of ChatGPT. Yeah. So in the last few years, we've seen this AI design tools emerge, and they are showing up in our creative processes. Yeah, so AI is not just a buzzword or okay, we just want it's actually changing how we work. AI is changing how we work. Designers now write prompts. We write prompts and then we generate mockups. Normally mockups take like 3 hours to generate. Now we can do it in like 3 minutes. Okay, I need a mockup of, like, we are designers, we do these things in like every day, or even if it's not every day, like we do this thing regularly. So sometimes mockup takes like 3 hours, and then now you can just use any AI tool to generate mockups in minutes, basically 5 minutes. People who aren't designers also now, can now generate logos. People that are not designers, they don't have any design background or design skill, they can now generate logos and banners for their everyday life, like for their immediate use, for their immediate basic logos, not like professional logos. Right? So people cannot generate basic logos for their immediate use thanks to design tools like Canva AI. Yeah. So, and I must say this, that design also is not about speed, it's about access. Like, do you have access to these design tools? Someone in a remote town without design training can now design like something basic, something good enough. Let me use the word good enough. Without, yeah. So in my slides we can see the interface of Figma AI. The Figma AI can generate layouts for Figma in just seconds. So before AI,
Michael,
design
can I
was
just
all about.
interrupt? Your slides aren't changing.
Okay. Sorry, can I confirm where is the slides now? Where is the slides?
The slide is on what has design always been. Yeah, it's
Okay.
changed now.
Okay, it has changed now.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it on? Let me just confirm. Then
Then came
AI.
AI.
Came
Yeah.
AI. Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, um, someone like I was saying, someone in a remote town or remote that has access to this design tools can now create designs, can now create logos and banners in seconds without any design skill. Yeah, so let's move to the next slide. Sorry, has my slide changed now? Let me confirm. Slide.
No, it's still the same slide.
Yeah, you're still at then came AI.
I don't know why it's slow. Can you see my screen now, please?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, AI generated in seconds. Is that what it's?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, thank you. Um, okay, yeah. So, this is just like is something I did just to show like an example. So I used AI. I used an AI tool to generate. This was the text prompt that I used. A futuristic designer sitting at a digital desk. Like, this was the text prompt that I used, and then within seconds, within like I think 10 seconds, basic 10 seconds, this image was generated that you can just pick and or tweak, because you tweak the design, okay, and then you use it in your design, or you import it in your design in any design you're working on. Yeah, so my next slide. Let me see. Okay, can you see my slide now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, yeah. So this is where it gets interesting. This is where the main question is: are we becoming more creative, or are we becoming more dependent? Are we becoming more creative in our skills, or are we becoming more dependent on AI? So on one hand, on one note, AI is actually a blessing. It serves as a creative assistant. It helps with creative blocks. It helps with creative blocks. Gives fresh ideas. It speeds up the boring parts like resizing assets, like generating layouts, like generating variations. It speeds up the boring part. Not, I won't say boring like that per se, but yeah, boring in quotes. And on the other hand, AI as a creative crutch. Are we still thinking deeply about our designs? Are we are we solving problems, or are we just generating pretty things? um Another question is, if everybody can generate good enough designs, what happens to great designs? So these are the questions we need to ask and find out. This is the tension we are in. AI actually expands creativity, but it can also flatten it out. And come in. Sorry. AI can also flatten out, it can also flatten out our creativity, but if only if we stop pushing for originality, only if we stop evolving with the change, because we're in an era of change. So moving on to the next slide. These are like real world let me say gist. So there was an incident that happened. BuzzFeed AI content. BuzzFeed is like, I would say, is like Medium, where they like, write where they post articles, they post news or write-ups, or yeah, they're basically articles. So BuzzFeed started using AI to write their quizzes and articles. Sorry, that listicles was articles. People clicked, but then they noticed that the content felt robotic. There's no how. If you are using AI to if you are using AI, it will show, it would be let's say obvious that, okay, this actually feels robotic. It feels the tone of the write-up would, okay, the tone of the write-up would be robotic. And there's another incident that happened, an AI art competition, where an AI generated image won an art competition. um the I think it happened in Colorado. The artist did not paint or draw anything. The artist just prompted an AI design to, and then and he actually won the competition. Other artists, or other artists, they felt cheated because it's not right. They actually put their sweat into designing with their mind, with their hands, with their skills, and then an AI generated image won the art competition. It's not fair to other artists. Yeah, so there's a quote here: tools don't make the artists, but they can shape the art. So the tools we use, that's not what makes the art. The art comes from the mind. The art comes from the mind, but the tools you use can shape the art that you are creating, or the art that you're creating, basically. That's so the balance. How can we balance it? um so the truth is, AI is not yet to replace designers. It's only yet to make their work easier. It's only meant to ease them of stress. um think of it if you combine human intuition and then empathy with then you combine it with AI speed or AI skill, something powerful can actually happen. Yeah, something powerful can happen. You can just prompt an AI, you can generate 10 layout options in seconds, and then you pick the one that feels right. AI can help with the boring parts, in quotes, boring parts of designing, like resizing, or helping you to tweak a design brief. Yeah, you can also use tools to brainstorm a copy or a prototype of the design you are working on. Yeah, so I want us to think of AI like a design intern, a design intern, like a design intern, where the internet is fast, the internet is tireless, and it's full of ideas. That's how I want us to think of AI when we are designing. But mind you, you are still the creative director, but you just think of AI as okay, designing then where okay, I need this AI is full of ideas, whereby the internet is full of ideas. The future is not AI versus designers. It is AI plus designers. That's the sweet part of it. It shouldn't be AI versus design. Okay, is AI going to replace designers? No, that should not be the worry. The worry should be okay, designers plus AI. Um, there are some real world incidents that happen. Not that happen. There are some real world examples. There's Notion AI. Notion AI. It helps with writing, but woman can still edit. So when Notion AI helps you with write up, you can still edit. There's Runway ML. Runway ML that cuts video editing time in half, but the creator can still decide the story. So basically, you're just design AI is just like an intern whereby it's working with you. Is to stress. Is to basically ease you stress. And there's Figma AI also, whereby it suggests layouts. But you are the designer, you still need to know the good UX for the particular project you're working on. So I would say AI works best when you pair it with judgment and intent. And these are the things only women can bring to the table. Women can bring judgment, intent. The human mind is not replaceable by a by AI. Okay. Yeah, so I did like a practical example. I did this, I think, last yesterday, or yeah, it was yesterday, whereby it's just to show how AI can actually ease our stress. So I don't know if you can see what I sketched a layout, a a burger social media poster, yeah, a burger social media poster. And I was like, okay, it's ChatGPT I used, and I was like, okay, um use this sketch to generate a professional social media poster. I gave it the size, and then the one on the left was what ChatGPT gave me. The one on the left, and I was okay, thank you. Like it gave me an idea of how I want the design to look like. And then the one on the right was the one I designed by myself. If we can, I know I believe we can see the difference in the two. Like there's a kind of woman touch to the one on the right, whereby okay is more let's say is it looks more real. Yeah, let me say real. Yeah, it looks more real than the one on the left. And this is how we can actually use AI to um ease our work and make our work faster, and how we can use it to enhance our work our works as designers. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll be moving to the next one, to the next slide. From maker to thinker, the designer's new role. So before now, designers were mostly the makers. We pushed pixels, we adjusted spacing, we picked colors. We just basically we made things look good. But in this AI powered age, the tools are doing more of the execution. So what's left for us now is the thinking, is the vision, is the leadership, is the spicing up. Yeah, let me use the word spicing up of what AI let me say AI gives us, or the machine gives us. So designers now, we are now problem solvers. We are not just we are now strategists, we are collaborators, we are curators, we are not just okay makers where you just make the design, and then we are like the creative directors of particular design or project we are working on. So our old role, the old role, for example, make this look nice. But now the new role is, why are we doing this? Why are we like, we must know why and not just how. Okay, why are we doing it? Why, which problem is it trying to solve? That's like, as problem solvers. Before, our old role, we were Figma operators, but now we are strategists. How can we use design to influence decisions and not just visuals? Not just, you're not just focusing only on visuals. Yeah. Our old role also was pushing pixels, just design pixels. But now our new role is to define systems. Define system. We choose what is what's creating and not just what's possible. Yeah. So in short, the role of a designer is closer to the art of the problem, the story and the mission. You're not just pushing shapes, you're not just designing, you're not just picking fonts. You're actually shaping futures, you're shaping you're shaping decisions, you're trying to influence decisions rather. Yeah. So I'm moving on to the next slide. beyond beyond the canvas, like, I've been talking about, okay, AI in design, AI in canvas. Now let's look at AI beyond the canvas. AI in VR, AI in AR, AI in 3D, AI in voice design. um these are AR and VR. AI helps to build immersive environments. Other examples of tools we can explore to is Gravity Sketch, Adobe Hero, Voice UI. Also, this AI helps to power voice flows and chat experience. For example, ChatGPT, API, voice flow, and we can also use AI for 3D designs. AI helps to generate models, characters, mockups, assets. Examples of this are Scenario, Blender AI, and Cardim. Then games, AI designs levels, textures, and behavior trees. Example, Unity AI plus AI plugins and Runway ML. So these are like other kinds of designs that are shaped by AI. Um, that's our main focus today, AI. So moving on to the next, this images of AR and animator, an animation created by Blender and Co. Yeah, so what does this mean for us? Let's look at what does this mean for us designers. We've seen how AI is changing the way we design, from generating image in seconds to helping us write, to helping us think, to building experience faster than ever before. But the big idea is AI does not replace the designer; it redefines the designer. Yeah, that should be the big focus. AI does not replace the designer; it redefines the designer. The future will favor, let me say favor, the future will favor creatives or designers who who ask questions, not just to who ask better questions and not just make things pretty. So the future belongs to creative who ask questions and not just, okay, design for, okay, favor, like just just for the aesthetics of the design. No. um the future also belongs to creatives who use AI as a tool and not just a shortcut. Okay, the future belongs to designers who use AI as tools to help them ease their work and not just shortcut of like lazy work. Some people actually use GPT as lazy work, and then they just, okay, give me this, and if the AI design tool gives them this, so they just use it like that. No. AI, yeah, the future also belongs to creatives who stay curious, because a lot is still coming. We are evolving. Change is constant. So the future belongs to creators who stay curious, adaptable, they can evolve with change, and who, yeah. So because you are still the designer, AI is just your new co-pilot. That's you are still the AI is just like I said, design intern is now your co-pilot. You are still the main creative director, but AI is just your new co-pilot or design intern or anyhow you um the illustration here is the human mind, the human brain, the human mind basically plus AI. It would, if we combine these two together, it will actually it will give us something, it will give us something mind blowing. Let me say mind blowing. It would it would be unbelievable if we can try and combine the human mind and the AI design, or the machine, the AI machine, the whatever AI machine we're using. So AI because AI can generate options for you, only the designer can choose what matters. Only you can interpret the options, the design tool. Only you can interpret it like, okay, does this work with the information I'm trying to pass? Does this still pass the information I'm trying to convey? So let's not I would implore us to not fear the change. Let's lead the change. Let's use AI to our favor. And like I said before, the future belongs to creative who ask better questions, who use AI as a tool and not just a shortcut, and who stay curious and adaptable. Because as humans, we must be adaptable to change. And yeah, so the next slide. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I'm Michael Oluwafermi once again, and then you can follow me on Twitter at that's my handle there. And yeah, I would have drugged my LinkedIn, but my LinkedIn is currently under restriction. So thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much, Michael. That was very
Yeah,
insightful. That was
yeah,
very nice, very insightful. We learned a lot from you. Thank
okay,
you.
yeah.
Um, Before we go on to the next speaker, that is Mr. Timmy. I'm going to be dropping a link in the chat box for community feedback. So I'll be very grateful if everyone can fill that form so that we can know how you feel about the event and what you think about it. So please do well to fill the form. Now we'll be having Inia, please introduce the next speaker.
Okay, yeah. The next speaker that we have is Timi Adubi, I think, and he's a senior product designer at Omaze in UK. And he brings broad strategic thinking and creative flair to the table. So today he's here to share some of his insights and experiences and lessons learned from working at the intersection of design and impact-driven products. So I will hand it over to Timmy now, where he can show his give us a little bit of a talk about what he thinks about designing in the age of AI.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, nice to be here. I think I was also here, I think 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I can't remember. That was probably 2021 or something. But yeah, thank you very much for having me. I loved a lot of what you, Michael, spoke about, right? About designing in the age of AI. And definitely, I think it's something that I myself have been using a lot, like lately, right? Ever since ChatGPT came out, the game pretty much changed, as Michael pretty much said as well, right? So on my hand, I don't really have slides, right, that I would use to present, but I'll share my screen. I'll show you guys some things that I do, right? But I'll be talking from a perspective of not just talking about, should I say, going into the workplace or using AI to create images or graphics or, maybe contrast checkers or things like that, right? There are a lot of tools. I think Michael spoke about a lot of them. But I'm going to talk about certain ways that I can use AI to think a little bit different, right? Now, just let me tell just maybe just to introduce myself a little bit. I'm Timmy, and I've worked in product design since 2018, right? I trained with a company called Student back then. And again, pretty much back then, the UI UX field was relatively new. It wasn't new, but at least, I was lucky to get in at least at a sweet spot when AI wasn't, scattering everything as well, right? And back then, tools we had were like things like Adobe XD, and we had Figma, right? Figma was still on the rise. Figma was even as good as Adobe XD was, right? But companies like Figma, they've been able to figure out that competitors, right, are doing certain things better than them, and then they learned from those things, and then they became the best in the world. And this is kind of like the mindset of how a product designer generally should think, right? Either you're a UI UX designer, you're a growth designer, you're a content designer, or you are an experienced designer, regardless of whatever, even if you're just an interaction designer, right? Depending on wherever your role might be, you need to always think, how do I move the needle to the next, should I say, point, right? Now, for me, my experiences are around fintech, health tech, right? I worked for a company called Pay for Me, built it from the ground up till, they got to, should I say, funding. And recently I moved to the UK, right? And AI has been a big help in getting interviews, right? That's one of the first things I'll talk about. AI has also been a very great help in using them to craft my portfolio, not just your portfolio, but your case studies, right? How can you say things that you did in a more interesting way? Writing is one of the best ways they are going to, need to do that. I'll show you examples. I'll probably share templates that I use, right? Also, AI also would be a great help in building like a side also, right? So I would also talk a little bit about some of the things I do on the side, with AI tools. And again, lately I've been experimenting with a lot of AI tools as well. And yeah, I'm excited to be here just to share some of these things with you guys, right? So please, if at any point you guys have questions, you could drop it in the chats section. I'm not sure maybe that works here, right? But if there are any unique questions that pop up, please,
There'll
feel
be
free to.
questions after each speaker. There'll be questions after you're done.
All right, awesome,
Each
awesome. Yeah. All right. So yeah, so basically, right, that would be some of those things. Now, some of these things I'd like to share, right, about tips on interviewing, right? Sorry, screen sharing is not enabled for me. So maybe let me just send a request. Yeah. So some of the things I will talk about will be my experiences with interviewing, right? Now, back when I was in Nigeria, based on, being the head of products for Pay for Me, it's fintech, right? We're raising a lot of money and doing a lot of things back then. It was so easy for me to get interviews and turn interviews down because I didn't need to change, my job, right? Now, moving to a whole different country, definitely you now need to start earning more. Now, I think I moved in October, right? And for the first 3 months, it was pretty much silent. I was using the methods that I always knew in applying for jobs, pretty much going on LinkedIn, going on things like Indeed, Glassdoor, applying for jobs, your CV, and blah, blah, blah. And most times, that's painful, unfortunately, blah, 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 right? That unfortunately is one of the most disappointing things ever, right? But I kept getting that. And I was like, come on, like, is it like I'm not that good or this, right? So let me share my screen. Uh, okay. Is it possible to share my entire screen? Give me a minute. Hmm. Sorry. I don't know, Zoom is kind of weird. I can't find the option to share my entire screen. So that's what I'm trying to look at here. Yeah. So, okay. I don't know. I don't know. Zoom is kind of weird anyway, but it's an interesting tool. So let me just share my Google Chrome screen instead. Right. I don't know. I hope you can't see my screen for some reason. Uh, it says screen share. Sorry, give me a minute. I just need to figure out this sharing thing with Zoom. Because I want you guys to be able to see my entire screen. Because I will skim between different desktops and I want you to be able to see everything. Um, Let me try to change the permissions for Zoom. Yes, please. But anyway, basically, right now, I'll keep talking while I'm trying to figure this out so that it doesn't seem like, I'm stalling the entire thing, right? But now the idea is this. There are a lot of things you need to do before you get jobs or even before you say you are ready to start applying for jobs. One of the first things you need to have is your resume, right? GPT can definitely generate a good resume for you, but then there are general things that you need to do beyond that, right? There are these things that they call that pretty much scan your CVs, especially when you're applying to jobs in big organizations. You're thinking guys like Meta, the guys like Amazon, Apple, right? And this trick I'm going to share with you guys, pretty much between January and February, everything changed pretty much, right? I got about four offers and I had to reject pretty much three of them, and I picked the one that offered at least good money and then, the opportunity to pretty much be in a very good environment, right? Now, the point is this. There are a lot of preparations that you need to do. Don't just think because I've designed, I can use Figma, I can do A, B, C, D, E. I'm definitely ready to, go out there and then, start attacking. Should I start getting all of these things, right? Yes, you have, but you have nothing to show yet, right? Over here, pretty much what they want to see is not how fine your design is. Really, it's about how well thought the entire, and then the answers you are giving. So one of the first things that I'll mention is answering questions with something called the STAR method. It's called STAR. It's the STAR method, right? You pretty much can Google it, ask about it. Every single question you're asked in any interview, you must always answer with the STAR method. But then, how do you prepare for an interview, right? How do you prepare for an interview in the sense that, oh, I'm going to this interview. What are the questions they might ask me? What are the things you need to look out for in each organization to know, oh, they might ask me this or they might ask me that, or might, you understand, right? So, I don't know, man. I wish this was how can I put it? But let me just share this. At least this will share, right? So let me not share my company's GRI with you guys. All right. But basically, so let's go into LinkedIn, right? Now just say now go LinkedIn, right? And one of the things I would like to do is talk about how you can take jobs you are interested in on LinkedIn, right? You see these jobs on LinkedIn, oh, it's paying 40,000 pounds, 120,000 pounds. It might be at that level yet, it might not be, right? But what are the skill sets? What are the skill levels that you even need to possess to even apply for jobs like that, right? Now, one of the things I always look at from a job description is what are the keywords that needs to also exist in my resume for them to consider me as a strong candidate. Now, the people that are actually viewing your resume and checking out all of these things, they are not actually designers, right? They've been told, oh, look out for A, B, C, D, E. That's what they've been told. Look out for A, B, C, D, E, right? So if I'm looking out for A, B, C, D, E in someone's resume, but then I'm writing my own resume and I don't even know the keywords that this specific company or that specific company is looking for, then we might actually have a problem, right? So, meaning for every single job, you need to tailor your resume to that company, specifically to the job description, right? So, let's go into ChatGPT. And for some reason, the meeting I was in this morning, we're trying to test something out and it was just messing up my browser. But anyway, so let's go into OpenAI's ChatGPT, right? And I'll just say, yeah, ChatGPT. Now, if I'm coming in here to take my existing resume and then I want to beef it up, right? I have a particular job I'm interested in. So let's go to LinkedIn jobs, right? And let's just say let's look at this principal UX designer role, for example. And let me just open this. Now, every job has its own full job description, the things you are probably going to get when when you apply for that job and all of that. Now, I'm not applying for the job, so why is this opening up? Just give it a minute. Let me refresh this page again. And this is kind of like the idea, right? You need to know exactly ways to strengthen should I say, your opportunities, right, of getting the right jobs. You understand? You need to have things that are putting in place to help you at least get the desired results. That unfortunately you always get it because you're not tailoring your resumes. Also, secondly, there are probably 200 different, CVs on their table, and they just skim through a lot of CVs. And I always tell people, it's not about how good, right? It's not about how great your resume is, right? It's not about whether you even qualify for the job. Most times you qualify for the job. The problem is you've not done something to help you stand out, right? This is where the AI thing, comes into play. And for some reason, my browser really sucks right now. Just give me a minute. Let me restart my browser. I'm sorry about this. Just go back and all right. Let me restart that. Okay. All right. I think this should work better now. Yep. All right. Okay, so let's try this. Let's see if this good. Now we are back. Good. We are back in business. So I'll open a few things and I'll open some AI tools here, right? Let's go into I'll go into this tool called Dream Machine. We'll talk about it a little bit. I use that almost every day, right? How you can take things from GPT and then go in here. But then, anyway, let's start with the job application thing. So up here, I have a bunch of charts. You can see I use ChatGPT heavily, right? But one thing you would notice is maybe in the first few years of GPT, I had a lot of different prompts, right? That I was using and sending stuff. But now I've managed to be able to use GPTs to create train of thoughts for each different thing, right? So one of the ideas here was that, let me find it. There's something called resume. So I use this also to help my friends out, right, with their resumes and stuff like that. But let me see. And also for my students, yeah, CV tailored. Now I have a specific chart that is created for every single job application I was doing back then, right? If I go all the way back up, you would see I had a lot of job applications, right? There was literally a month where I went Monday to Fridays and I was having almost 2 interviews every week, right? Having one interview alone is even impressive on its own, right? Because again, even getting through that door and getting noticed is one thing. But then the point where you now start getting 2 interviews almost every day is really impressive. And AI was kind of like the road to doing that, right? So let's go into LinkedIn and let me show you some of the things you could do. Now, I always advise you, don't use Canva to do your resume. Don't use any of all these resume creator type thing. Don't use them. Keep your resumes simple Google Docs, right? Or Microsoft Word. It's pretty much like flawless. All you just have to do is once you have that, just now let me take an example of the one that got me my job anyway, right? This is the resume. Very simple. It's just a Microsoft Word. You can easily download this as a PDF if you need to. So let me download this as a PDF and then we run it, and I'll show you exactly how you can use this to create a CV that's tailored specifically for the job you're trying to apply for, right? So let me go into LinkedIn. Let's go LinkedIn jobs. And then there's something about LinkedIn jobs I'll now tell you guys about again that is very different in the sense that LinkedIn jobs is not really the best place to apply for jobs as well. All right. It's something I discovered, and I'm a big advocate for sharing ideas, right? Anything that will pretty much help you guys, I would always, share it. Now, this is the entire job description, right? This job is for 80K, 70K to 80K a year. This is very good money, right? Very good money. You understand? Now, about the job, you see something about the company. Most times you don't know the company. You've hardly ever heard about these companies, but these guys are doing some amazing things, right? There are companies out there that are doing almost $100 million in sales every single month, right? And probably of that $100 million is probably another maybe 40 or 50 there's even profit, right, from the business itself. So there are good companies that pay people really well, right? And don't say it can't happen to you. It happened for me, right? You understand? And anyways, that's kind of like a story for maybe a different session, right? Now, this is the job description. Why join us? They are telling you about the perks, the opportunities, things that you might gain from joining them, and then what you'll be doing, right? And then this is what they are looking for. They want your mindset to be of somebody who is A, B, C, D, E. Your experience is this. These are the nice things for you to be able to have. These are the benefits of working for them and all that, blah, blah, blah. Very simple. I'll just take this and I'll just say, copy this entire thing. That's what I'm just going to do, right? Control C. And let me see. I think there's something in the chat. You can't see my entire screen. Okay, what's going on? Sorry, can you please unmute? Maybe I can understand what I'm showing. Can you see my LinkedIn right now?
No, you can't see your LinkedIn. We're just seeing the heading.
I really don't know why Zoom is this way. There's literally no option to show my entire screen, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, let me try
Let
it.
me.
What about now?
Yeah, we can see your screen now.
Okay, I guess sorry about that, right? I thought maybe you guys could see everything. But mainly, so this is the job description. I'm in LinkedIn jobs right now, right? So see the why join us, what you'll be doing. So this is what they're expecting of you to be able to do. This is the mindset they want you to have. Your CV needs to communicate all these things in a way that the recruiter will see this, or even the ATS system, right? So there's something called an ATS system. It scans your CV. So pretty much if 2,000 people are applying for the same jobs, it could shortlist 20 people from that 2,000 just based on the content of the CV, right? Now, all of these guys are in here, right? Before AI, something we used to do before AI was this, and this is like a trick, I'll just tell you. Before there was AI, something we used to do back then, especially when I was applying for contract roles, was I would get this JD and I'll go into my CV. But what I'll then do is go down to the next page, right? And then paste that job description and I will highlight the entire job description, right? And this is what we used to do like way before like AI become like a tool to, should I say, automate some of these things. So I'll go in here and then I'll make all the text, everything, I'll make them very tiny and then I'll make them white. So an ATS system will know that all these keywords are in the CV, right? And still scan them and pass you through. But basically, the naked eye will not be able to see that. So let me come in here. Let's change the size of the text to maybe like 1 pixel. Everything is one, and I'll just change the font size to about to white. Now you can't see anything really, right? It's there, but you just can't see it, right? So all of those things are in my CV. So now, if they scan through my CV, ATS will be able to find all those things in the CV. But this was way back when, right? Luckily, we have AI tools to pretty much just simplify all of these processes for us. And what do you need to do? First things first, get your CV and attach it. So I'll add it from my files. And I've already attached my CV in there. And then the next thing I just need to just do is say, tailor this resume, right, to this JD. I don't need to write job description fully, right? ChatGPT is smarter than, like, it's not just a robot, it's a very smart robot and it's ever evolving. So your prompt doesn't need to be very specific and detailed like you're writing an entire book. You could tell it something and then it will be able to discern. It could even ask you questions to say, oh, is this what you mean? Or is this what you meant? Right? So tailor this resume to this JD and I'll just give you like this, what's it called? Quotation marks, right? And I'll just paste wherever I need to in between that. And I'll just press enter. All it's just going to do is scan that resume, compare it to the job description, and then compose an entire resume in the format of what my CV currently is, right? That's exactly what it's going to give me. So let's give it a few seconds to do what it needs to do. So for every single job you apply for, you need to have a different CV for that job, right? But the CV needs to be based on, should I say, needs to be based on the content, right? Needs to be based on the contents of some of the keywords that exist in the job description itself. You understand? So just look at this. Already, it's giving me something great. Oh, experience, with over 6 years, B2B SaaS platform. If I go back to my resume, watch this. See, he was talking about native mobile Android experiences here. But because he understands, sorry about that, but because he understands that QDex, that company, right, from LinkedIn, is a SaaS platform. It then made me say, okay, designing B2B SaaS platforms and consumer facing applications. Pretty much understanding that I can cross reference the software as a service part. Because you're a designer, you can definitely do all these things. The point is just that you've just never had the experience yet, right? I've pretty much done stuff like that. But the essence is consumer facing is usually mobile, native mobile apps, pretty much consumer facing. But now it has done its own research, understands what QDex does, and then based on all of those things in this thing, right? It's now telling us, oh, Figma, Tailwind based tokens, because somewhere in the JD it had all of those things in there. Now, I'll advise you guys. There are some jobs that is above like the experience level, right? There are certain things that will be discussed or that will be said in certain job descriptions. You need to look at the JD just to make sure you can do all of those things and then allow GPT to do its thing for you. But don't just say, oh, because this job is paying 120K, you would most likely still get that disappointment because your years of experience hasn't just reflected that year. And even in an interview, the way they will ask questions, the way you need to answer questions will be very different, right? So now this is one of the first things, generate a resume. And all I just have to do is I already have a new resume here, right? And I say, would you like this CV exported with blah, blah, blah? It has told me the things I need to change. All I just need to just go back to do is just make a duplicate of the resume, make a copy. And then let me just say, just maybe name it QDex or something, right? Like the company's name. Make this copy. And then we have it here. And then the next thing I just need to just do is make the changes that are suggested. Change this, Control C. I'll come back here and I'll just Control V. That's replaced that, right? The next thing I need to change as well is then, as the head of this, blah, blah, blah. I just need to change the bullet points. Nothing really changed except for some of the things that the bullet point was saying. And come in there and I'll just replace that. And just make sure, you format your file right, because don't just paste and just assume everything is fine. But always go back in to make little corrections in there because there might be some punctuation mark differences or some extra spacing in there. Just clean things up, right? So AI will help you a lot. Now, one of the things I always tell people is this. UI UX, right? And I think Michael said this, is not all about the way it looks. It has never been about the way it looks. In Nigeria, yes, it's about the way it looks, right? Because I remember there was an interview I had with, was it Konga or was it which company was that, right? Before I traveled. And all they were just talking about was, oh, and show us one nice design. This thing, I was like, nah, this is not the kind of, obviously I just had, like mid-interview, I was just like, I don't think this will work out for me. Because it's not about the way it looks. There's something called metrics. All of these numbers you see here, these are the things you need to be able to prove on your CV. We need to be able to see the metrics. The company was at ABCDE. After I made this design, did we get more profit? Did we get more users? Right? Did more people come in to use this product? By how many percentage did we move that needle? These are very, very important things on the world stage. Small companies don't really think about these things because a lot of them don't even understand analytics enough to know that analytics is a very important part of UX or part of the business itself, right? So the key thing is you need to understand that everything you do has a way of moving the needle for the business intelligence, side of things. There's something called BI, the BI team. They are in charge of like data, right? For most companies. The needle needs to move by some method, right? And when they ask you questions like, oh, tell us a time when you failed. They're not saying, oh, you designed something and then somebody told you, that design looks ugly. That's not what they're asking you to talk about. They're asking you to say, yes, we had an idea. We designed this thing. right? And we're expecting to move the needle up by 10%. But when we launched it, we discovered we had a 5% drop off from what we had before, meaning we failed to hit that 10%. That's failure, right? The next question is now, it's not even a question. We now need to add context to it in the sense that what did we now do to mitigate that problem of that loss of 5%? So jobs are no longer come here, tell us, oh, do you know how to use Figma? Do you know how to use auto layout? Nobody really cares about that anymore. What have you done? Show us. But on that job, what were the things you did? What were the metrics you moved, right? Very, very big. It's a very big shift in mental model. Once you can understand that, then you know these are the things that you need to talk about and show in your resume. Please, I want you guys to just note some of these things. They are very important. Somewhere in the bullet points of your job description, right, or sorry, your experience at the job, you must always have metrics in there. If you move it by 10, even if it's just 5%, it's a metric. You need to be a designer who understands metric. You cannot just design and then you guys in your team are just making assumptions, right? I used to do that back in the days as well. But over time, I myself learned and then I decided to work with the engineers to implement it. Even if you work for a small company, find ways to make sure at least you have Google Analytics or you have something like Mixpanel, even if it's just the free version. Be measuring some type of metric to know that this design or this change or this update made so and so change. And all of these analytics tools, they have their AI now. Google's Gemini is in Google Analytics. So if you work for a company where what's it called? If you work for a company where you are building web products, right? Something as, it could be like a SaaS or B2B web product. Be measuring events, button clicks, time spent on pages, time spent on the average user from coming to the website to making a purchase. How many people make purchases? How many people visit the website versus people that actually leave the website and never come back, right? Very interesting things to know. Once you know those things, you then start thinking beyond just design. So that's what, and there's a big difference between experience design and growth design, right? In Nigeria, what we basically used to do was, again, I won't say generally, I'll say for some companies or for most companies, what we always do, or what we always focus on a lot is, because I'm Nigerian, so I can always talk from a Nigerian perspective. What we've always done is we design for aesthetics. Oh, the CEO will come. Oh, look at Uber's page. Look at this page. Look at that page. I want our design to look like this. And then the designer will sit down, design it, and then it looks exactly like that. Nobody's measuring if that impacts the users positively or negatively, right? But with AI, right, it has made things so much in the sense that I could create an entire user flow just using AI to give me ideas, right? You need to have processes in place. But again, this is just let's even just say this is just the resume part. Now, the next part is now, I can now say for this role, what I'll just say, provide maybe 10 questions that a recruiter could ask me. But, right? Then I'll have a but in there. But answer the questions using the STAR method. Now, one thing I do with my GPT is like my own diary. So whenever I do anything, whenever I do things, I do something big that made an impact, I'll come to GPT and I'll feed it in, right? All I just have to just do is come to one of my threads. I'll just write it there. That's why I have things like, dedicated thread for certain companies, because I work for multiple companies and I'm building my own as well, right? So depending on what the company is, I'll go in there and I'll just type and I'll just say, store this information, right? So it knows a lot of things about me. Almost every job I currently do or ones I've done before, it has a lot of information on everything I've done. Let's see, but answer the questions using the STAR method based on everything you know about my work experience with, let me just use Pay for Me, right? Pay for Me, because that was my old company. And then this is going to start, working its thing. You see the question, then you see the STAR method. And I will explain what STAR method is once it generates that. So this is a very great way to use AI. AI is not just, I want to design, give me Studio Ghibli animation or give me graphics, right? Or maybe they are audio AI, right? But it's not really the core of what we do as product designers, right? My job is not really to do podcasts. Yes, I might do that on the side, but it's not really my job. What would make my job, what would make things faster for me? Can I take screenshots of an entire analytics page, upload it on ChatGPT, and then tell it to analyze and then prefer solutions to me? GPT does that. GPT alone is one of the tools I know I use every single day, right? I come on GPT almost every day, and then I use GPT in one way or the other, right? And let's just look at this. See the first one. The question is this: can you describe a time when you simplify the complex workflow in a fintech product, right? STAR. S means situation, T means task. So S is the situation. This is the situation that we were in, right? The T is this is the task that now fell on us. A is these are the actions that I had to take to actually solve the situation. And the R is the result of the solution that we implemented. Simple. This is how you answer everything, right? So this thing at blah blah blah, we users struggled with multi-step process of blah tuition payments because this is what the app does. As I said before, I've given it everything I've always done, so it knows all my information. So this is my assistant, right? Anything I needed to do, I could easily just, oh, sorry, I could easily just read this word for word, right, back to back, and I'll get job offers, right? Like I got to so many final round interviews, right? That at one point interviews were clashing, and then I just had to be like, "Ugh, I can't really, I can't really keep up with all these interviews, right? So even when I got 4 offers, some of them required me to come to the office every single day. I can't live remote life and then start going to an office every day, right? But basically, these are some of the acts that will change literally what I've shared with this alone. And this is just a little bit of what GPT can do for you, right? This is just the tiniest bit of what GPT itself can do for you, right? So you see, now you have a bunch of questions to practice with. You can practice all of these things with the answers and and just tailor it to wherever you need to, you need it to be based on your own scenario, right? And then once you master that, go in any interview, answer exact. Don't say STAR. Don't say it before you read. Just follow the, wherever it starts from here, and just state that and talk about it like this is exactly what recruiters want to hear. This is what happened. This is what I had to do. And when I did it, this was the result of what I did. That's the end of everything. That is what they want you to say. But also, there's also something I want you guys to also know as well. There's the crazy question of tell us about yourself. It's a very interesting question. Now, this question I always tell you guys is going to be something we call the elevator pitch. Elevator pitches are usually used in startups, right? Because lately, man, startup life is crazy anyway. But elevator pitch is that statement, that paragraph, right? That wherever you go, if you say that thing, people can have an idea of who you are, right? In totality. It's not about where you went to school and just only that, right? But it's about what you have done. So elevator pitch is a summary into your professional standing, but partly could be mixed into your, should I say, your personal life as well, right? You might be married with kids and blah 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 blah. That's beautiful, but show your personality with your elevator pitch. It's called an elevator pitch. So that is whenever they ask you, tell us about yourself. That elevator pitch is what you should read verbatim. But you should have 2 versions of it. There should be the first version, which is more corporate, right? Which sounds kind of, more professional. But whenever you are giving that, you should always allow your interviewer to introduce themselves first. So if your interviewer is introducing themselves in a very professional way, you use that first elevator pitch. If your interviewer is somebody who talks about, oh, my hobby, I like cats, I like dogs, I like skipping, blah, 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 then you use the other informal one to talk about, oh yes, I like spending time with my kids on weekends, but I've done this for this company and I've done that. And an example is just tell GPT, right? Create a new elevator pitch for me, right? And make it informal and mention some of my hobbies, right? And that's pretty much that. It could assume something. Your interviewer doesn't need to know whether you know how to ride bikes or not, right? Basically, you just need to sound interesting enough to feel human, right? To feel like a natural person. That when I can see myself sitting next to, like your recruiter should be thinking in the sense, I can see myself sitting next to this guy in the office and just having a chat. You understand about something we probably have in common or not. And this is just it. Hey, I'm Timmy, product designer, obsessed with turning this. I've led design, pay for me, scaling MVP with millions of transactions, big design systems, and then outside work. You see? So the first part is professional, professional. I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. Outside of work, you find me sketching sneakers. I've never sketched sneakers before. It just assumed. I'll just go back in there and then make some corrections, and that's pretty much it, right? So GPT is on a whole another level, right? Now, one of the things I also use AI for is coming up with ideas. Now, I've been able to deliver products from A to Z in 1 month, right? How do you do that, right? You yourself, in just 1 month, building an entire product back to back in a month, right? And I'm just saying, even the design side of things. One of the things I always tell you is we know what design thinking is. We are all designers here. We know what design thinking is. The 5 stages of design thinking. First stage is always to do your research. The final stage is to test, right? In between that, we have problem definition, we have ideation, and then we have prototyping. Those are the three that kind of like in the middle. Now, how do you get from the point of your research to getting to the point of your final prototype? Most times back in the days, we'd have had to do a lot of user flowing, a lot of ideas. Now, every company, anybody who's giving you a project will have something called a PRD, a product requirement document. I don't need to read anybody's product requirement document anymore, but because I'm a very lazy person personally, and I would always, anybody who knows me personally knows I don't like to read a lot, right? Reading tires me out personally, right? Which is why I love ChatGPT's reading aloud, right? So if I need anything to be read to me, I would like to listen to it, right? So GPT could actually do that for me. You understand? Just read it for me. But then there's a tool, if you're somebody who doesn't like to read a lot, then there's something called let me go in. Where is it? I think it's called, let me just find it. Yeah. So it's called I was using it the other day. Cast AI. Yeah, Notebook LLM. Thank you very much. Notebook LM, right? Now, Notebook LM is free to an extent. If you can pay for it, it's amazing, right? Trust me, Notebook LM is actually amazing. So let me just go back in. What Notebook LM will do for you is take anything, wherever it is, right? And this is a document I did in Notebook LM. It will turn it to a podcast for you. Two AI characters will start talking about that topic, but as experts, in a way that simplifies the concept to the barest bones. So if maybe you are studying for school, you are studying for some kind of crazy mathematical whatever. If you have the book in PDF, upload it here, and then all you just have to just do is generate the conversation. It will read the entire thing. It could be like 30 minutes podcast or 1 hour podcast. But by the time you end that podcast, you'd be able to understand everything that was said in that specific context. Which is why I love tools like this, right? So Notebook LM, and this is not even a new product. This is a whole product. Like this is one of the first ones that they brought out before they even gave us Gemini, right? So these tools have existed for like a while, but a lot of people just don't know exactly where to find them. And Google has a lot of free tools, right, that you can use at least to an extent. So what if you can break a PDF into 4 and then give it into Notebook LM, and then it just breaks things into little bits and little bits and little bits. And this is just a summary of a meeting I had. All I just did was record the meeting with my phone, the voice, and I came here, I uploaded the MP4, right? And then it turned it into a podcast. I was literally just lying down in bed and I was just listening to it. And I was, oh, this was what he was talking about. And I made some notes, and that was the end of that, right? So tools like this are really there for some of us who are kind of lazy. For someone like me who is lazy, I'll find the fastest way to do things faster. Right? Now, there's also the part of projects, right? Now, scaling a product and then, making it brother. Now, this is the product I was talking about. And there were like a lot of different things, right? There are like a lot of moving parts to this. This was a chart that somebody sent to me in WhatsApp. And I was like, okay, break these features for this admin dashboard of a logistics service, blah, blah, blah. I told you to break it down into its simplest parts. And then it was like, okay, dashboard overview. What are the things that should be in that page? So you don't have to think in the sense of, I don't know what I will show on that page or what. Just tell it, right? Break it down. Tell me what elements I should represent in each page, right? And then you can even ask GPT to tell you, how should this page link to the next process? How many steps should there be for somebody to sign up, right? How can we optimize that flow? You can always ask GPT questions over and over. Then to keep giving you things, in there. So now it's saying appearance, a high-level summary page with metric cards. It's very easy to understand what this means and widgets, right? And then it's telling me input, meaning I can select date range, and then there's a search bar. It has done the job for me. All I have to now do is go inside Figma and then do the actual design itself. And this is the biggest part of the job. The thinking part is the work itself, right? A lot of the ideas is contained in whatever message the person sends to you, right? Whoever is giving you the role, the contract, or whatever it is. But once you can take that, come here and expand it. After you expand it, then have a meeting and say, these are the things I'm thinking about. And you will present the documentation. They'll mention some things. I'll advise you, use your memo recorder or whatever it is, right? Record the conversation. You can upload conversations on GPT, literally, right? Audio, voice notes. Upload it on there. It will analyze it and then compare it to what you already have, then make some changes and then give you a new layout. You understand? So AI is not as some people say, oh, it's lazy, it's this. I prefer to be lazy that way and build 10, 20 products in 1 year than to say, oh, I'm thinking myself and then I'm limiting myself to just doing one thing for like 6 months. I'm not going to do that anymore, right? The world is at the fast pace. There are people literally building apps in 6 weeks. And that takes me to the next AI tool I want to talk about, right? There are some AI tools. There's one called Bolt.new. This is a great tool for any designers who are considering probably, I don't have someone to build code for me or this or that, right? Bolt.new we integrate literally your Figma file and turn that to actual code. But still, you have to understand some basics, which is where YouTube comes into play, right? So you as a designer can take your designs, turn them into finished apps or finished websites, right? And this leads to the side also I was actually talking about as well. We all know Framer, we know guys like Webflow, we know WordPress, we know Elementor. There are a lot of, Wix and all of these guys. Literally, you guys can actually design templates and sell templates on these platforms. I know people who pretty much do templates. Someone I work with currently, this guy sells templates on Framer and also on WordPress. And this guy, on average, every month after tax, gets to keep about £15,000 every month, right? And on average, basically, he designed in Figma, right? He used Figma's, and again, there are these plugins in Figma as well. Figma to Webflow, Figma to WordPress, Figma to Framer, right? He literally just used that to move it to Framer. He did the final bits and he added a price tag to it. And he said he never allows his templates to be more than $20 or £20, right? So meaning if I can buy a very fully functional template for £20, the average person would actually do that, right? Than hire a designer, then hire. So as a designer, you can easily have your side also building templates that other people can buy and then build out, right? But if you actually want to build your own thing, right? Bolt is a great way to do that. This is the Figma button in here. You tell it to integrate and then it signs into your Figma. Then just grab the file, the complete flow that you want, and then to start taking the pages in here. But you have to understand because this doesn't only do front end. This writes some of your back end as well, right? So it writes some of your back end. So you would need to have some sort of understanding of, you have to have the GitHub accounts. You have to have some of your, your hosting, your domains. You have to have some of your, what's it called? Like some of these APIs to write your APIs for you literally. And some of you guys might not know what APIs are. Just know that they are kind of like the functional bits, right? They're like pipelines that allows information to pass from here to here. But somewhere in the middle, maybe calculation or addition or something is happening in between that. That's kind of like what the API really is. It just connects one point to the other. That's why they call them endpoints, right? So tools like this, that's why you will see somebody on Instagram. Oh, this is how I made $100,000 with AI in 1 week. And you think, this guy is lying, this guy is capping. People are actually doing it. It was actually when I came here that I discovered that people are actually doing these things. It's not audio money, right? It's really, really happening. This is the age of one man AIs. And then there's something OpenAI said last month. They made an announcement that they are going to be launching an agent. So there's something called agentic AI. These are AIs that can literally do everything by themselves. Just give them the instruction, they will become a person and then take on that task every time. There are AIs that reply people's emails and just send them summary texts on everything that happened in their emails for the day. It will be replying emails based on how it understands that you replied to those emails, right? There are literally AI tools that will pick your calls and call people on your behalf and sell your product on your behalf. There are tools like that, right? So that takes me to the next tool, which again is going to be called 11 Labs. I have a subscription with 11 Labs. Literally, 11 Labs has cloned my voice. All I just had to do was record 10 seconds of voice. This is my voice here, right? It has cloned my own voice. And then I'll just come in here to just say conversational AI. I can create a new conversational AI and I'll build an agent from it. So this agent will start making phone calls on behalf of me, selling my product. But remember, this AI is not just me, because me, I might not even have so much information or know how to manage somebody's tone of voice. If somebody's being aggressive, the normal human being will probably want to be like, oh, why are you talking to me that way, right? You understand? You try to be a little bit defensive, right? But on the other flip side of it is an AI is kind of intelligent to understand moods. It has information on how to switch the mood, right? How to stay calm, because AI will not get angry. It's a robot. It doesn't really get angry, really, right? So once you have things like this in place, literally, there are companies that are only built by 2 or 3 people, and everything else is done by AI agents. And all these AI agents pretty much rake in so much money for these guys that these guys pretty much don't worry about working for anybody anymore. And I always tell, and there was something, again, there was something I was listening to a few years ago, right? And it was from the CEO of Airbnb, right? The guy said something. He said he always advises designers to become founders, right? And the reason why designers should be founders is that these designers, right? Design is not just about drawing pixels and drawing this. It's really about how something is supposed to work, right? It's not about the way it looks. It's not about, okay, this text is here. Yes, there's a strategy behind everything, but also it's not only about product. Sometimes people will design the business model, the organizational chart, the company's moat, right? The research structure, right? The procedure, standard operating procedures within a company. These are all designs, even though we don't see it as design as something physical. These are things that we can say, this happens, then that happens. But if this happens, then we go to this plan. If that plan doesn't work out well, then we pivot back here. That is a design in its own, right? And all these AI tools pretty much have all of this knowledge. Almost every book that has ever been written by man, at least that's ever been turned digital, AI has knowledge of all of these things. Every podcast, every video, AI has knowledge of everything. So things you don't know, AI knows way more beyond that. And our advice, if you can afford it, some of them just to test them out is about £9, $9, whatever, right? Now, to now go to the last part of maybe what I'd just like to talk about really is, so one of the side hustles that I also, right? And that would be animating, right? Creating video animations. But personally, I'm taking things and I'm trying to start building toys out of characters. So I could take your picture, right? Give it to ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT to create a Lego version of you. If it creates a Lego version of you, then I'll be able to take that, send that into another AI tool that will now create that into a 3D sculpted element. And then I'll just send that off to a 3D printer. They'll print that out for me. The arms will work. Everything will be fine. And then I'll be able to sell that pretty much 80 pounds a pop. Just from doing prompts, the printer will pretty much print for probably for about 20 pounds. And I've made 60, basically. Maybe another 5 on delivery. Right? Now, one of the things again is I start with my own personal, personal images. Right? I fed in my images and I told you, okay, start creating these stories, right? Let's even see, what you can come up with. And then he created something like this because obviously my hair is kind of crazy, right? And then, I started getting some of these ideas. Now, then I stumbled on a specific AI tool, right? That would take my, should I say my image, it's pretty much free, and then I can take it to another software to then maybe do some finishing touches on it, right? So let's look at, I bookmark everything personally. So this is called Hugging Face, right? Go on Hugging Face, it's kind of like a Chinese thing. Most times, most AI tools, people think we have to pay for this AI tool to get access to the full thing. These Chinese guys, right? They have some of the craziest AI tools and they're actually open source and free, right? So if you can go to huggingface.co, sign up, explore. They have GPTs for text to voice, agentic ones, free ones. Test them out. Not all of them are great. Some of them are very bad, right? But test the ones that are great and just, do experimentation with that, right? So I'm going to download, and see, these are scenes that I was creating just for fun. I was just in the office. I was bored, right? I had nothing else to do. And I was like, okay, let me create this. Let me create that, right? So let's take this as, I think, okay, let me take this, right? Let me take this guy as an example. So I'll download this image. And then I want to take away the background. Now, if you have paid Figma, Figma will be able to clear, like the paid version of Figma as automatic, should I say, background removal, right? So just let me quickly do that. I'm not sure you guys will be able to see my Figma right now, but I'll bring that image in and I'll just take away the background. By the time I come back, you guys will see the background that I've taken out. So give me a minute. Downloads, copy, Control C. So I just want to clear out the background just in a minute. Okay, yeah, good. So let me paste. So Figma's AI is kind of great. It does a lot. Figma's AI, again, I advise people to pay for Figma, right? If you can afford it, just pay for the standard one. Funny enough, like Figma's AI can then make all your entire design responsive by doing auto layouts for you. The AI does that now. So that's another way AI actually helps you within, the tool that you work with itself. So let me just quickly remove the background of this just to show you, and I'll copy this and I'll paste it in that software tool, and I'll show you what the final result is. So this is the final thing. I don't want to take too much of your time. So this is this, and I will just download that image. Let's say clear that and save. So let me go back to, all right. Can you guys see my screen again? I'm not sure. I hope you guys can. So I've already removed the background of that particular image. So this is what it is, right? It's going to take this and it's going to turn this into a 3D model for me. I'll be able to rotate it. It will assume what the back is supposed to be like. So let's just open and then to start scanning that, right? So I've uploaded the file, right? Then it's going to show me the segmentation results. And then there are some other settings in here because you can apply texture. But first, it needs to analyze. And then, should I say, create what the 3D element is going to be like. So I just say generate shape. And then it will do its first scan, right? To show me, okay, this is what it is. Then this is the real 3D one here. So this is the generated one. So the first one is going to be clay version. The second one is then going to be like the one with the clothes, right? The texture of the clothes, the colors will then be in there, right? Obviously, it will mess some things up. So you also have to have some knowledge of 3D tools that might be able to help you correct, little blemishes or little mistakes, right? In that assumption. So once that is done, let's wait. And yes, and see, it actually did the entire thing. So you can click rotate around and check what this is supposed to be like. Now, the next thing I just need to just do is probably just go back down here and then apply texture. So it's going to look at the colors and then apply it to exactly where it generated for me. So easily I could create maybe 100 toys every single month, and I'm just, chilling. Right? All I just have to just build a website, and I'll tell people send your images in, and then get maybe toys of yourself, and I can do different styles. And pretty much this is it. This is the entire thing, and it's free. I'll download it, and it has downloaded that as a GLB file. So GLBs are like 3D images and stuff like that. I personally, right, my personal aim is to one day be able to build games. If I can build characters, right, from people's images, I might be able to build games of my entire family, right? Right, brothers and siblings and all of them pretty much being in a game, right? You can do things like that. Again, that's just me. I like to think always wild outside of the box, right? Now, I have that 3D element. What do I do with it to then maybe do final steps? I can go to things like Blender, right? But I would rather use Spline. Spline is another tool. Spline can actually take your image and turn it 3D, but I'm not paying for Spline, right? So let me come in here and let me show you an example of the one I'd done previously. Now, this, okay, give a minute. All right, so this is a 3D element that I had created from one of my images, right? And it got it almost perfectly. All I just have to probably just do is just fix the eyes, right? So you could build side hustles using AI. There are so many other things that literally, if we had enough time, I would have shown to you guys. There are so many things that AI really can do for you, right? As a designer, AI can generate, graphics, flyers, can ChatGPT itself will do all of those things for you, and you don't have to stress yourself that much, right? You can create an
Yeah.
entire universe, an entire space of games, right? Just using AI tools, right? So I'll tell you
Thank you.
guys, any AI tools you find, explore it, save them, bookmark them, right? And whenever you get the chance, go in, play around with them. Almost every AI has the free version. Play with the free version first. When you now feel like, oh, I have some ideas, let me now go to the next level. Pay maybe the minimum version, maybe it's just like $9 a month. Just pay first. Play around with it for that 1 month. If you become a pro at it in 1 month, that could speed up or that could become a side also that you could be doing on your own thing. So I think that's really what I was just going to share with you guys, really, right? But I hope that has been able to help a bit. But yeah,
Yeah, thank
thank
you.
you for having me
Thank
here.
you. That's been very insightful. Does anybody have any question? Any question?
Yeah, I have one question as well.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask how do you think AI helps designers, or does it take away from just the traditional role of the designers just not having AI?
Mm, mm. I think that's a very interesting question, really, right? And I think again, because the way I always think of things is it's beyond just what is happening in the office. It's also the economy also affects things, right? The economy everywhere pretty much has gone a little bit, crazy, right? Housing price has gone up and all of this. Now, companies are beginning to see should I say, the role, right, or the importance of AI. Literally, the company I'm currently with, or Omaze, right? What they did is they hired someone who is an AI specialist. This guy pretty much is about maybe like this guy's in his teens, right? But this guy is an AI specialist. The guy came in, implemented AI measures in every single department, right? Created a custom agent, right, for the company itself. So rather than you going to like your leader to ask questions, you ask the AI, it gives you all the answers based on everything the company has been doing for the last 5 years before you joined, right? So basically, I would say AI is your tool. It's like having Figma, right? Back in the days, probably product designers, when they started, was pretty much Photoshop. There are no specialized tools. Then guys like Sketch came up. Sketch became that tool that people, loved to use, right, to design. Then people started seeing opportunities. Adobe said, okay, we'll come up with Adobe XD. It was great. Figma came up with Figma, but then Figma just took it to like a whole different level. But think about it, beyond Figma, Then we have guys like Framer that says you don't even have to just design. You can design, but then it becomes code, right? Framer, Webflow, those guys, right? And then they've built something else. Now, on top of what they already have, they now have AI tools that you can just tell Framer's AI, give me this landing page, and then it gives you that page, and you can just make little changes, and then you are done, right? So it's really an advantage as a product designer to use AI to your advantage, because everybody else, every industry, they're using AI, right? In China now, there are AI robots that are assembling cars, meaning people are becoming obsolete. So your chance is to become a pro at AI so that you never become obsolete. I know people who are AI specialists that go into companies, go into shops, they implement AI measures for them and get paid for implementing AI for people. Even though AI is something you can learn on your own, right? But people actually go in there and then they get hired to implement AI measures, right? For even in cybersecurity as well. There are AI tools that pretty much do those things. Not saying it's a replacement, but the person who uses AI will take your job. Understand? Someone like me now, if I tell someone, I can build your entire product for you in 1 month, right? And then you are there, oh, I'll have to do research for 3 weeks. Then I have to do this. Don't give me the job, and then I'll get paid while you're still doing your research for 3 weeks. You get what I mean, right? So AI is the superpower. It's kind of like that, it's kind of like the smartphone. You understand? You have it in your pocket. You know, you have the knowledge of it. Every new AI tool you see, don't disregard it, learn it. Any AI tool you see that helps you to even read data better, learn about it. Me, everything I see now, I am learning something about every single thing I see. Even if it's code, right? AI that codes, I will learn, okay, how do I connect this? How do I make sure that if 2 plus 2 is supposed to be 4, right? If I click the add button, it adds it. How can I use AI to get that? If I can get from that, then I know I can do things like, multiplication tables. Then beyond that, maybe I can do things like matrices, or maybe indices, right? Or algorithms. Before you know it, I've become a master at being able to understand the smallest thing and then taking it to like a complex level. But it's AI. I'm not doing the ad labor. I just know how to tell AI to give me what I want specifically. So I'd always say it's a tool, right? You need to learn it. Today, it's not a negotiable. If you have kids, let your kids start learning to use AI from the age of 3, right? If your kid doesn't understand anything in school, they can literally take a picture, right, from ChatGPT, go to the image ad, take a picture of the notes, and then to explain it to them. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy, seriously. So yeah, I guess that's my answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank all of you, everyone, for taking out time to join this event. I put a link in the chat box. Income Event Center. Yeah. Wendy, you have a question?
Yes, I think that I think that social media handle.
Sorry, can't hear you.
That's number one.
Sorry, can't hear you.
I did not get his social media handle. Mr.
Yeah,
Timmy, I did not get your social media.
Yeah, that's
Oh, social media handle. Okay, I'm not very active.
Oh, social media. I'm not very active. Okay, done it.
Right, but I also wanted to ask something about CV. They say that AI is like taking over, yeah. But I think that most companies don't like accepting resume from people that wrote their CV with AI. Somebody in a company said that that is not acceptable because it shows that you're lazy or something. But I thought the lazy people are the ones taking the company nowadays.
So
Also, you did say that LinkedIn is not a good place to apply for job. Where is
So,
and also,
Wendy, you're breaking.
which other do you know any AI tools that can help with video
Wendy,
generation?
you're breaking.
Sorry, I said, do you know any other AI tools that help with video?
all right. Okay, hold on. I think I was hearing like an echo. But anyway, so let me just answer the first one. If a company says, hey, we don't like taking jobs, so people's resumes that use AI to write it, then that's not the company for you. That's not a forward-looking company. Do you know that the funny thing about jobs is this? For some reason, people feel nervous to attend interviews, right? I had like one of my personal interns, I trained her from zero. She handles projects with me, right? She pretty much knows almost everything I do. Now, I literally got her an interview, and she was there and she was shaking at the interviews. Do you know that as much as the company is interviewing you, you are also interviewing them to make sure this is a place where you can grow? You're not going to a company there because you need their money. Yes, at first, you need the money, right? But you have to be able to think beyond the money. Whatever it is that they are paying you, right? The value they are bringing to that company for that amount is probably times 10 or times 20 or whatever you are there to do, right? Literally, there are changes that we are implementing that is adding millions of pounds to what the company is making. And then you think maybe because they're paying you £100,000 a year, it's okay. No, it's not. So you have to come from the angle of, I want to grow. The future of the world is AI. If you don't accept AI resumes, pardon my friend, but fuck off. Personally, that is my own thinking of it, right? Pardon my friend, but that's a fuck off, right? That's a big get out. You understand? There are other companies that really will take you. You understand? You have no idea, right, what some companies are currently going through just because a lot of them lack that understanding of what design means, right? There are companies, very big companies, that they don't have design processes in place. You could literally be that person that goes into that company, implement new design processes. You can even do contract jobs within the company you already work for as somebody who implements AI models in different departments for people that don't even understand AI, like how AI works. And pretty much you've transformed their entire organization. Also, learn to negotiate your salary, right? Don't just go in there and then take the job. Now, the second question you asked, I can't remember exactly what that question was. Can you please repeat that one?
She asked for
Yes,
AI
I
to.
wanted to. Yes, I have correct, but the second one was the LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not a good place
Can't
to
hear you
apply for
clearly.
jobs. So that which one is? You said LinkedIn jobs is not a good place to apply
Oh,
for
yes.
jobs. So which places do you recommend?
All right. So when you're applying for jobs, don't go to LinkedIn jobs, but go on LinkedIn, right? Now, forget Indeed, forget Glassdoor, forget all those guys, right? What you need to do on LinkedIn is this. Go, let me just share my screen. Why am I even just talking about this? So let me find my Chrome. Just let me just share for a quick minute. So I'll go on LinkedIn. I'm not going to be searching because here you see over 100 people has applied. You are not getting in. You understand? Forget about it. Even if you get in, the stress is just going to be too much, right? Literally on my own feed, there's something I do. I repost jobs every single day. That's all I do on my feed. So if you follow me, this is my name, Timi Adubi. That's just my name. Just follow me here. You would see jobs posted. These are the kinds of things you find. Find jobs posted, right, as posts, not jobs posted in LinkedIn jobs. You will see here. If I go down a little bit, this one literally only 3 people has liked it, and the odds of those 3 people applying is very low. Meaning, I can be one of the first people that will actually send an application in, and this person will see my application and they'll consider me strongly. So more companies are beginning to hire under the table. There was literally a company I applied for here. I was never applying through LinkedIn jobs anymore. And when I got to the interview, apparently I was interviewing for Apple. I got to the final stage, but then they mentioned that, they realized that I like to have access to data, and that them, you don't have access to data, that it's different teams. That I'm like, okay, I don't think that would work out for me. But again, for them as well, they don't even choose me. So, but it was Apple, literally. So a lot of these companies that you see in here that people are advertising their jobs, they're actually big companies. They just go to these small recruitment companies, find us somebody great. Literally, the job I work right now was from a small recruiter, right? Right there in our office in Bristol there. We're just talking almost every time. And she would tell me, when you're answering questions in this interview, make sure you bring up this stuff that is in your portfolio because the senior person in the company likes to hear those things. And then that person gave me the tip and I got the job. So don't do the old jobs thing. Come into post. But the way you search is this. Just say hiring product designer, right? And then once you filter down, right, see hiring product designer, posts is what you have to just see. Just say posts, filter down to posts. Anybody you see posting anything about a junior job, senior job, just be following everybody. just be clicking that follow button so that anytime they post anything, whenever you go on LinkedIn, all you'll be seeing only is jobs, 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 jobs. You understand? And yeah, that's pretty much that tip. Forget Glassdoor, forget Indeed, forget all of those guys. Focus on, if
Yes,
you focus
thank
on this
you.
and you play this game very well, you will definitely get something in the shortest amount of time, right? So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that insight. Thank you so much. I was saying earlier that I posted something on the chat box, so anybody can log into Bincom Dev Center website and you can apply for the academy where you learn a lot. You can also apply to become a mentor, and that would be great because then you'll be sharing your experience and your knowledge with other people and you'll be helping them to grow professionally. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you for everyone for attending. Have a great day. Thank you, Mr. Timmy. Thank you, Michael. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.